How is everyone this beautiful day? My name is Paula. I am the author of 4 novels in the Whitebird series. I'm presently working on my 5th novel, Blue Flames Rising, and you can discover more about me and my novels at my website, pbmoreland.com. I'm also a crystal aquamarine water dragon, as many of you know, hence the name of my YouTube channel, Crystal Tales and Dragon Scales, where I share memories of the past, the present, and the future, and sometimes weave them into my books because I do believe the timelines are merging from when I wrote my books to when I published my books, the time, the setting of my books, where they took place and when they took place. So it's all appropriate. But lately I have been sharing personal stories and reflections on my own ascension symptoms, on my own travels through this life, because I know that we are in the days of ascension right now as I speak. And today it's the summer of 2025. I've chosen not to continue with the dates. Don't think they're relevant anymore. But the year is appropriate and the season, let's say. And there's a lot of hum and buzz in the disclosure community. The voices that know the truth, that have been coined conspiracy theorists, crazy, but they know what's really going on in our world and in our history, in our galactic lineage, let's say. They understand how we have been controlled and manipulated by an evil power. Many of us know this story. Many of us are awakening to it. And many of us have no idea, completely unaware of how mankind has been controlled, deceived, and betrayed. However, we're not victims here. At some point in our soul's evolution, we've chosen this. Otherwise, it would never have been allowed, because we are masters and we're sovereign beings. We've just been distorted, let's say, and manipulated, and been kept away from our beautiful naturalness by an infiltration that is now coming to an end. Again, that's something that is happening now. A lot of treasonous actions have been done by powerful men and women in our world. And it's been kept hidden from the masses, from these powerful groups, these elite beings. But not anymore. It is now being exposed for the truth and the hideous nature of it. I ring the bell for the children who have been pawns in this game, in this satanic game. I say that with the most deepest reverence to the children. But I say that because of the times that we're in, and just to let you know that everything is working out as it should. The exposure needs to happen so we can witness and never, ever look away from the children again. So that said, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Down here in this little corner, there is a little dragon emblem. If you click on that, you can subscribe, or any way you wish to do it. I'm a growing YouTube channel, very small in nature right now, but that's okay because my message resonates through the field, the crystalline field. It's not about how many clicks I get. It's about those who just might pass and stop and visit for a while with a cup of coffee a question on their mind, most likely that will be answered through this video. Share and leave a comment. I'd love for your thoughts to be communicated here where others might hear them. But for today, I want to tell you about something that might seem small on the outside, but it marked a very big shift inside of me. I call it the day I didn't panic. So I'm going to set the scene a little bit here. And first of all, dial you into my nature. And I do this, I share these experiences with you who choose to watch and listen because that is how I remembered me, by others' stories, by listening to others share their own experiences, where I didn't feel so alone, where I knew that I was being held in love's embrace, even by someone sharing a story, so I didn't feel that my experience was so different that I could never, ever talk about it. And so some of my experiences are very personal, some not, but I tend to share what I feel is appropriate to share on the day I feel like I want to share it. And my energy, my nervous system has always been that flight animal. I flee, I hide, I dart, I react quick, I startle easily. And that's okay, because that's who I am. I've embraced it. But now it's slowly starting to stabilize. My energy, my nervous system is stabilizing when the external events start going a little wonky. I don't feel myself fleeing, or my parasympathetic nervous system just where I start to sweat and shake when things go wrong, or what I think is wrong. So, a little bit about me. That's changing as these energies are settling in and the light codes are coming in from Sirius and the galactic beings are around us and our dimensions are, the veil is thinning. I am starting to come into my own, okay? As you are as well. I'm just a recorder. I'm remembering every moment of it. And so last night, a strong storm rolled in through my area. It was coming. We've had a few of them lately. Very strong winds, the kind that bends trees and knocks out power. And so before the storm hit, I had to take my car. I knew my car was leaking oil. And I'm going to step back a moment and just let you all know that I am going to be taking a road trip to Colorado in a few days. So I had my oil changed a few days ago. I had them check my car, just making sure this is going to be a 3,500 mile road trip, maybe give or take, going into Colorado to visit some really important areas out there that I was called to, and I followed the call. And so my car was leaking oil in the driveway. I saw these big oil spots, which is no fun when you have a concrete driveway. And so I knew I had to get that looked at, and I knew I had to get it looked at right away. And so I called the garage. This was like at 8:15 at night. And they said, bring it up right now. So I did, even though there was a big storm moving in, about 45 minutes away, give or take. The old me would have said, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I got to stay home. I got to be mindful. I have to protect my home, my animals. I don't want to be out. I don't want to be out. But instead, I took up their offer, knowing my car needed to have this attended to, went up to the little gas station on the corner and waited. In the past, I would have paced, watched the sky, checked the time, worried I wouldn't make it home in time. But I might have felt unsafe. Something could go wrong, like the storm, like the world wasn't holding me. And in those moments, the child in me used to rise up, wanting to flee, to hide, to shrink away from danger. But something was different this time. And I felt it every second. I stayed present. I sat in that little garage with the scent of oil and rubber and the sound of thunder rumbling in the distance. And I waited, calm, grounded, trusting. I did check my phone for the radar. I wanted that part, but I didn't pace. I didn't ask the attendant, the mechanic, who so graciously accepted the fact that he needed to check my car and it was up on the lift. I didn't hover. What's going on? What's going on? What's the matter with my car? Can you get this down in time? There's a store coming. I got to get home. I stood outside and I saw the dark sky. And I saw a gentleman walking by with his dogs, cars going back and forth. There was no danger at present. The flight animal in me didn't send up the alarm. I stayed calm and I stayed present. I didn't let my nervous system pull me into old fear patterns. I breathed. I got home in time, before the rain, before the chaos. My power stayed on, inside and out. And that is one of, there have been moments in my life, of course. I'm not always in a panic and a crazy, startle. But storms tend to unsettle me, okay? They just do. But this time it didn't. And so that may not sound like much to you, and that's okay because we're all different. But for me, it was huge because that quiet moment revealed something I've been cultivating for a long time. I trust myself. I trust the moment. I trust the storms that come, but I will not be shattered. I trust that my intuition and presence are enough. And maybe you've had moments like this too, where you notice that you didn't react the way you used to, that you stayed centered when you could have crumbled, that something changed. We are in an ascension process. We are moving out of the third dimension into the fourth, into the fifth and the sixth, in layers and in waves, as is appropriate. But first, the insides need to settle. As I've said in other videos, and I will repeat, once the inner world has shifted and changed and grounded in calm acceptance, the external world will catch up. I am not waiting for the exposure, for the truth to come out, as some are, as the great solar flash. I am just taking this one step at a time, moment by moment, staying in the presence and witnessing my own growth. I stayed centered, or did you stay centered when you could have crumbled, that something had changed? That is soul strength. That's integration. And that is becoming who we really are. And so that's a part of my day from yesterday. Okay? Over the past few days, these experiences have been unfolding. And as I said, I'm getting ready for a trip. But in a moment of clarity, I want to remember and maybe offer to you as a reflection of what soft strength might look like. So I'm getting ready for a trip. You know how that can be. Packing, planning, trying to make sure everything at home is in order. And if you're like me, an empath, a sensitive, someone who feels life deeply, it's more than logistic. It stirs the emotion, the nervous system. And yesterday I felt that flutter of agitation well before that 8 o'clock moment with the car. The early part of the day, the sense that I needed to keep everything together, that nervous anticipation. And my cats, sweet Cleo, curious Arlo, and dear Mr. Bentley, have reacted in their own way. Cleo has been watching me with knowing eyes, and Arlo is staying close. And Mr. Bentley, who is 13 years old, has not been eating much the last 3-4 days. Seems very fragile, tired. But I'll share with you, today he ate a little breakfast and he didn't throw it up like he has been for the last 3 days. He held it down, and I felt like that was a gift from the field. And the gift from the oil leak, not a big thing, but another could have sent me spiraling. The cat's not eating could have sent me spiraling. In the past, I would have panicked. And so as I sat in the garage, I felt my nervous system wanting to rise, but I didn't run with it. And so when I got home, well before the storm, I went home calmly, got in, checked the windows. Dog was a little bit nervous, as he tends to, but I didn't stay in the house. I went out into my porch. I have a 3-sided screen porch. And I have very large trees around me, big old maples and elms, and they're glorious creatures. And the storm did come, a big one. Winds tore through the trees. The trees bowed, the lights flickered. I did not run into the house. I stood on my porch and I sang. And I danced with the wind. I felt no fear, not even a trace. I felt the winds coming. I heard them moving in. And then they hit, as I said. And again, anything loose on a tree just came. I stood up, put my hands high over my head, and I toned. I don't know how I toned. I don't know the sound I made. Then I started using a light language. Now, mind you, I have never done this. I am not one who knows light language, knows the language of an interstellar race, of a galactic being who does not use English as their form of communication. Other voices in our spiritual community may know how to do this. I do not. But these sounds came out of me. Ashna, hawifma, huma, malala. Just sounds. And I started moving with the trees, and the wind was very powerful. And as I said, I started to sing. I don't know the song I sang. And I walked from one side of the porch to the other. My cat Cleo, she was sitting out there. Storms don't bother her. And I was tingling, and I just felt powerful. I did not lose my power, my electricity. Many other people around me in my neighborhood, my friends, they lost their power. But me, I realized I hadn't lost my power, not the literal kind and not the one inside me. And that just felt very empowering, that I did not run from this storm as I have been known to do. Did not sit in my hallway with the doors closed, cowering with a helmet on my head. There were no tornado sirens, but they said these winds would be like the Derecho. I think I'm pronouncing that word right. Derecho. 100 miles per hour winds. They were coming. Well, they didn't make it here. The winds were strong, but not. They didn't destroy. I did talk to the wind. I embraced the wind. And I said, do your energetic clearing. Do your clearing. But no need to destroy. To move, to change. But the destruction is not necessary. So that felt really good to be able to do that. Not flee. I did not panic. And so with this retelling, I want to weave in some dreams I've had the last few nights. 2 nights ago, maybe 3 nights ago, 2 nights ago, I dreamt of roller coasters. I dream of roller coasters often. One set of roller coasters is not on this planet. It's in a different world. And I usually can't even find it. I'm searching for it. But this one particular roller coaster was at like a theme park, like Six Flags, maybe. But I did not see any other rides. I only see roller coasters. But I wasn't on the ride. I was witnessing, I was watching. And what I saw in one of the roller coaster cars, there was a woman, dark hair, dark skin, sitting on a man's lap. They were facing each other, and both of them were full of joy. They were just tumbling around. The man, his face was alight with love and joy and laughter, and so was hers, and she was moving, and so was he, and they were tumbling around in that roller coaster car. And I watched, uh, and I was bemused, and I was filled with joy myself because they were so free on this roller coaster, and they were being silly, and they knew they didn't really have to worry about falling out of the car or getting hurt. And I'm going to interpret that dream. I have a beautiful friend who helps me with my dreams lately, that I think there's a part of me, the wild woman, the ancient goddess, who's finally realizing it's okay to just let go and have fun. This dream, my soul, my unconscious mind, is reflecting back to me that I don't have to be so controlled. I don't have to worry about everything all the time. I can just let go and have fun. And now I want to quickly relate to you another dream, like a repeating dream. The roller coaster dream, not quite as frequent as this dream. This dream repeats often. And so this dream is about the bathrooms. It is what it is. And I'm here to share. But every being on the planet uses the bathroom in some way or another. It's just part of being human. And usually I'm in a shopping mall or an airport, a big, expansive building. And these bathrooms that I go into, because I have to use the bathroom, I have to go, are always soiled. They're filled with other people's messes. I'm always trying to find a clean, appropriate place to go. And this might mirror my desire in the waking life to process emotions, traumas, or suppressed energy in a safe, honorable ways. But the world, even the people close, haven't always made that easy. And so for decades, I've been well behaved. I don't like to get into trouble. I like to do things the way they're supposed to be done. Yes, I'm free spirited. Yes, I am nonconformist. I'm a pioneer in spirit, but I'm well behaved. I've held on to my pain. I've waited. I've often not had a place where I could truly let go without fear of being judged, rejected, or misunderstood. So my soul keeps seeking the rightful container to release. And so last night, I had a dream where I don't recall looking for a bathroom, okay? But I know I had to go to the bathroom. I had to urinate in my dream. I felt myself holding, that sense. And I ended up in this strange room, and there was just a shelf. It was like a metal shelf. and it was hanging off a wall, like it was suspended. Okay. And the shelf is not a bathroom. It's exposed, improvised, elevated, maybe even a place of display. I'm reading my notes here to help me stay on track. And this could suggest that a part of my life still feels there is no truly private space to process my emotions, especially the raw or messy parts. So I make do. Even when it's not ideal, I choose, or in the dream last night, I chose release over repression. I held it as long as I could. And my system in this dream, which reflected back to me, which is I'm done holding. And I honored release over shame. Even though there was a fear of being discovered, I went forward anyway. After I relieved myself in this room, and the room was clean, I cleaned it up. I cleaned it up out of respect, out of knowing that if I leave something behind, somebody else doesn't have to clean it up. I will. And this speaks to my integrity, my care, my self-respect. I did what I needed to do. And honest to goodness, this is the first dream that I recall that having searched for somewhere to go to the bathroom, I found a clean space and I released it, even though it wasn't in an appropriate place. And that does speak volumes of my soul finding self-respect to release emotions, because yesterday was an example of how I could still be in this dangerous maybe situation with the wind and stay calm and stay honoring my sovereign soul, my sovereign person. And so in the dream, it was the same dream, and this part might have happened either before the release or after, but I think it was after, right afterwards. I saw from high above. I was high above. I was standing somewhere. I wasn't flying. I often fly. I was looking down on this gorgeous expanse of clear water. And in the water, I saw a woman sitting. I saw her from above. She was sitting cross-legged in the water. Her arms were on the surface of the water, and she was drawing something to her. And she was in her element, sitting cross-legged, calm, gathering her essence. She had found her clean space. And I was close, but not quite in that clarity, but so near, almost there. And I knew in my dream state that it was not appropriate for me to go down to her. I was not invited into her clear space, into that water. And to me, this woman had the feeling of being from Peru, Peruvian, from the Andes. That was the sense that I got when I witnessed her. She had long dark hair and she wore a flowery dress. It was very, from the 60s era. And in my books, my story, my last novel that I published, Blue Crystal Mountains, my character Crystal travels to Peru. And when I was done writing this book, I was heartbroken. I missed the Andes and the Peruvian ways and the children of the sun and the land of the Inca. I never have been there in this lifetime, but I was there in energy and spirit through my research. I researched this time, the Inca period, the pre-Spanish Empire, and common day in Cusco so heavily, and I loved every moment of writing this book. When I was done, I ached for it. And I think this woman returned. This woman from Peru, clean. sitting in the clean waters. And I do believe I'm integrating lifetimes of emotional control, of having to behave, to wait, to hold it in, to clean up after myself. So these bathroom dreams are not embarrassing, they're sacred. And they're my soul reclaiming the right to release in her own way on her own terms. I mean, the way that these have all woven together are just wonderful. And so all of this, the cats, the preparation for my trip, the oil leak, the storms, the dreams, it spoke something deep inside me. And once again, I realized I didn't panic. I didn't flee. I didn't lose power. I trusted. And when I couldn't remember the dream, I still remembered how it made me feel. I couldn't remember all of it, but I felt light. I'm more present now. My nervous system, once a fragile thread, has become a woven ribbon of grace. The girl who used to hide in the shadows. When startled, she's gone. But she has learned she is not alone. The wind does not shake me anymore, her, my inner child too, my inner teenager, my inner young woman, young mother. The storm does not own my breath. So today I mark this chapter as the day I didn't panic. If you've had your own moments like this, I honor you. These are soul victories that no one sees, but that change everything. And so remember, as we move through the dimensions, third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, as I've said, and I will repeat, it is not the outside world that needs to change, because it's changing, whether we want it to or not. We are in the midst of a great upheaval. But your inner world, that inner space where your soul resides, where your guides reside, where your inner selves reside, your master self, your oversoul, it's in the space of you. When that starts to readjust, then you can stand in calm, knowing that you are safe and protected all the time, no matter where you are, no matter who you're with. And so, to close, excuse me, my daughter popped over. My daughter and my mother live just down the road and they've lost power, as many of us have around here in this area. I hear generators going, and I'm just blessed to have my power on still, and I'd be happy to share my freezer space. So my family members will be using my electricity, and I'm happy to share my power with them. And so this is an invocation for the storm, the stillness, and the soul. To the wind that did not break me. It's 3333 right now on my timer. To the sky that held its breath. To the storm that circled wide but left my heart untouched, I sing. To the ones who tumble with laughter on unseen rides. To the woman who gathers soul light in waters clear and deep. To the cats who watch with ancient eyes. And the dream I cannot name but still remember, I bow. To the child I once was, startled and small, and to the sovereign I now am, standing tall, I whisper, you are safe, you are seen, you are steady now. This is the day we did not flee. This is the hour we did not forget, and this is the breath that we kept. Let the bell ring for the ones who are healing, for the ones who are watching, for the ones who are gathering their pieces in still water. Let the bell ring for you. And so I ring the bell. I ring the bell in quiet reverence for the children. I started this video by reminding us, you and me, that there is an exposure ongoing as I speak. And whatever happens, I don't know, no one can forecast how big or small this exposure is going to be. What we must remember are the children who have been mishandled in terrible ways. Our children are our hearts. We need to protect them and to love them and to cherish them and to keep this world. We are stewards of this beautiful planet we call Gaia, Terra, Earth. We do this in reverence for the children, those who walk amongst us, small and innocent. They are to be loved and tended, fed and cared for. They are to be reminded of their special uniqueness, not to be overlooked, not to be forgotten and ignored. If we witness something that might be coming over the airwaves very soon, it might shock you to the core. That is all I will say. It's not my job at this moment to be the harbinger of this misery that many of us have denied witnessing, but we must witness this so we do not repeat these mistakes ever, ever again. I honor you. I see you. Play well together. Stand calm and firm in your resolution of sovereign compassion and love. Find your own inner child who has been harmed and ignored and love them more than you can love anything in the whole galaxy. Acknowledge those you pass. Give them a slight nod and a smile. You don't know what they're going through. Might just change their world. Namaste. Have a beautiful day. Never find the bottom. Thank you.